Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to another 1 second here. Universal Citizen Media Live webcast. Come on everyone, come on and join the room today. I'm going to be reading a speech here in just a moment. You guys haven't had a speech from me here in a little while. This speech is known as the Hub of Interconnectivity. Now, I introduced this speech in early June this year. I did it just once. And I have revised and revamped and respecialized this. Now, I have not read this speech since I did it last in early June. So you're going to hear me do it a raw format because I want to help people understand what the out loud name it to claim it system is. You had to be in the moment, in the power, choosing at every second of every moment to allow the greater energies to flow through you. Now you're going to see the speech come up on your screen here. You could follow along. There are some words that are highlighted in yellow. You can say this as you go, or you can listen or go back to it. We will make this speech available for those that sign up for the email list. It'll be available to those as something that you'll be able to use in your environment. All right, everybody, sit back and relax. We will be taking calls after this speech. I will asking people, what kind of conversations do you want? This isn't all about readings. Just the last show I had, the last gentleman we had a normal conversation about what's going on in the world. We are opening up these Universal Citizen Media webcasts for exactly this reason, connectivity. Not many other hosts allow direct connectivity. We're at Universal Citizen, along with David Ellis. We have created a unified healing system. So we have an entire network of professionals that are here to help you on your journey. And we create speeches like this, shows like this, concepts like this, so that you can go out in your justice world, your internal place and space, and bring new messages forth. All right, everyone, sit back, relax, and allow yourself to just be. You're at the hub of interconnectivity. I unpack and uncode the 1 million letters celestial alphabet for the express purpose of being the celestial medium of peace. I dedicate this to all there is, was, and ever will be. I am the excellence of execution with flawed perfection. I am man, hear me roar, meow. There comes a time for those destined for greatness when we must stand before the mirror of meaning and ask, why have we been given this courage? I am the mirror and the man. This courage is my birthright and legacy to this world. This is the fifth world of peace. We must look into our own eyes that are tired from the long journey through mediocrity. In that moment of self-discovery, many learn we are soul tired of stagnation, soul tired of repetition with our personal illumination. Our culture has become stagnant. Our society has become separate of reality for those living within the denomination of currency. A separation of humanity created by the money-driven caste system as a byproduct of world government's inability to actually do anything that helps people out of stagnation or cruelty put onto them by the free market societies. A system that uses free will to its advantage to create disadvantages for those that come to the future generations. Ponder that. Our parents and their parents before them had a vastly different life than those of the previous 1,000 generations. We have lost our way to create synthesis with ourselves. This speech is by design to challenge the readers and listeners in 900 degrees of separation from the creation of these words. Can you once again attain synthesis with yourself in this moment? Can you solve your greatest problem of attention and its deficit because our world screams with things that take us off course? Synthesis is not just a word. It is a state of personal freedom and awareness for growth. Within the patterns we create to promote our own evolution, with our purpose and place in the world. When in the course of our personal human events, there comes a moment looking into the mirror of meaning when something looks back at us and the raising of one's awareness begins. A time when some ask questions of the self in that state of reflection, and others lose track of the moment, lost in their own petty momentary need for mystical justification. It is those few who choose to dissolve old beliefs and habit patterns that create a habitual abuse of the self who are the ones destined for greatness in a world of mediocrity. These self-chosen few know the full powers of the self and the laws of nature and nature's gifts to us. It is our legacy and birthright to be in synthesis with all there is, was, and ever will be. Each and every one of us has the inner fortitude to face the self-created demons of mediocrity. It will be choice and our ability to enforce our choices to last through the storm of self-doubt and self-deception. Each day we challenge ourselves to become more than we were the day before. We pass on the legacy of the self to ourself, so our greatness will not be forgotten to the ever-evolving waves of time. This moment now, as you read or hear these very words, a vast, unseen world tunes into you, asking you to listen to the silence that expands your ability to know it. Equal to this world and layered over through forms of thought and perception. It is the uniworld. You and only you can discern the silence and know how the unseen world speaks to you. As I write and speak these eternal words decoded from the 1 million letter celestial alphabet, all of you feel the churning of wisdom you have known since the dawn of all your eternal births. For the great remembering has begun. I know this because I feel you before this has ever been shown to another living person in the world. I have spread it to the rest of the uniworlds, layered over all forms of thought and perception for the express purpose of being the celestial medium of peace. In this, we, as a species entangled with tens of thousands of other species, no longer have to battle for meaningless control of infinite space. Ponder that deeply. For in the form of self-depravity, self-deception, and egotistical actions redefines and drives so many in the uniworlds to do things unnatural to the natural way of being. We must face our fear of the unknown and know it is false evidence appearing real. We make it real, for we are the creators of our own reality. Too many of us hold false truth to be self-evident, appearing as real now, deforming our ability to store memories without our deception filters guiding us with fear-based, actionable wisdom, driving us further into charge and polarity of the living in the layered uniworlds. As creators of our own reality, our self-truths are incumbent on our ability to be vigilant and disciplined, holding them as self-evident now, without deception filters guiding us back into fear, doubt, or the many vices of depravity. Many of us believe the greatest human power of potentials within our ability to independently think, to choose our own goals, and live our dreams. Within the heart of humankind lives the natural instinct to know freedom. Here exists the independent psychological predisposition to chart our own course. This biological imperative directing us to grow, choosing the spiritual joy through this biological imperative is the essence of our essence being one with it as a part of us as programmable DNA instruments of awareness, as part of our choice-based system of belief interwoven to the fabric of time-space reality. The history of our past actions all too often retells the tales of life's traumas, repeating without learning how to heal from them, a nagging unhappiness with our path, lack of clear purpose, or anything that does not promote us as conscious beings of choice who must go through the thick and thin of life's offerings from a world mired in mediocrity. Too many of our world cultures teach a blind desire to be judged worthy, lovable, accepted as part of the pack of conformists. We must learn about our hero's journey, the steps forward to do its great work, regardless of the projections put on those around them, including loved ones who are still in the hypnosis of obedience and slavery. A hero's stance is frightening to those who unquestionably conform. You, as a hero, will not become subject to the tyranny of fools and the fool's desire to entangle you in the fool's mission of self-deception. Too many of our species are lost to the abyss of unawareness, blissfully ignorant to all of nature's gifts within the joyous tick-tock of the now. We can no longer live in apathy of the moment of now. We must be present to reclaim our authority and its wonderful gifts that exist in the now. These gifts were given away to the system of cultural mediocrity and deprivation of our relation with nature. If you should choose to be a conscious being of choice and full awareness, your choice is yours to use, discard, or give away to others. You and only you can attain personal freedom from the conformists who demand you conform. This is a form of cultural hypnosis that uses pre- and post-cultural hypnotic suggestions, demanding you respond to the needs of others, pulling you at every choice point, changing the course of your daily evolution into meaningless pursuit of others' false emergencies. This creates an inner detachment of our clear intentions and actions. Personal evolution becomes a TV series we binge watch, thus lessening our ability to even know synthesis. It is our birthright and legacy we must explore with a clear heart, clear mind, and knowingness. The world will demand you conform. We step into our greatness with these truths self-evident to our beingness in stages of action, reclaiming power, our power and authority to be ourselves, without conforming to the whims and fancies of others needing to make us conform to their reality rules. All too often, mankind forgets the unnatural foe of our life path is the distant vision of death, driving us into choice points we adhere to with vigilant force. We stop our own evolution. The real truth is we only have these moments of now. The byproduct of this form of thinking is present in the moment-to-moment detachment from natural living. This is unnatural to the way of nature, a creation by man's need to make others conform to thought constructs and ideologies of the past generations, demanding we make them relevant to grow. All too often, mankind does not have a vibrant awareness of its own emotions. Lack of emotions means one cannot feel the subtle energy that surrounds our body, mind, and spirit as a complex hologram of light encoded in memories, lifetime to lifetime. We must choose to feel again and again. Each time you make the choice to feel, allowing the raw emotions to help define your course of actions into your great work, so your great work can have a great impact on those you love. The choice to feel is your birthright and legacy. Each day, we must challenge the gates of apathy and drive forward our hologram with full presence and full potential power of being in the now. These are things inside us all that, there are things inside us all that create self-sabotaging habit patterns. These habitual patterns take on the forms of unhealed traumas. rearing their head during our times of internal crisis. Whenever we choose to be authentic with ourselves or loved ones, these patterns become programs of potent power from denial of our self-growth. Throughout the many generations of thinkers, we call these programs our internal demons. Our internal demons poisons the wells of inspiration, turns hope toxic, and dispels goodwill into hatred, rage, and anger. Our destiny is determined in large part on how well we know our internal demons of self-doubt, self-deprivation, and how they use shame, blame, and guilt to distort our perceptions of people, places, and things, diminishing a potent power that can assist us in manifesting our dreams, desires, and needs so we lead a fulfilled life. How we battle these demons and choose to win each day will be determined by the metal you create within yourself. The path to self-mastery begins with identifying your internal demons and flipping the frequencies on their arguments for your limitation. Find your arguments for success and challenge your internal demons to go back to the recesses of your mind and sit in the corner, powerless to overcome your will to be a conscious being of choice in these moments of now. For if you do not defeat your demons, who will? The external will not save you. It will only make you conform to the global narrative. Many wonder why we cannot mature as fast as we could, seeing others leapfrog ahead of the pack of conformists when we ourselves cannot advance. We are stuck in pause, waiting and waiting for permission to declare our dreams and true intentions, struggling for what we want out of our life walk. We wait the time for personal change to arise within us like a sexual stimulation, or for society to grant us permission to activate our inner genius and in turn activate inner genius of others. This is the illusion and delusion, all wrapped in a perfect enigma surrounded by the conundrum of lack of self-growth. We have forgotten courage is a choice, and permission and impetus to move with bold, decisive action is not given by the global narrative or the impotent masses entrenched in mediocrity. Courage is a choice, and permission and impetus to move with bold and decisive action is not given. To seek change is to go against the grain of those demanding conformity to ideological and cultural patterns of limitation, truly advancing to the unknown with the choice to make it known, letting go of fear, envy, and resentment, flying aloft on the wings of understanding, enjoying the reckless abandon of shedding off the conformist will to suppress your desires, to know the unknown. It is your birthright and legacy as a conscious being of choice on the path of self-mastery. The bold and disciplined invite the need to grow. It is our savior from the fearful masses who will never hold their power until they too are faced with their internal demons and shed off the needs of the conformed masses who have forgotten that courage is a choice. What awaits them is the presence of choice itself and the potential power of living in the natural moment of now. At the edge of infinity, with my expression of the now, I unpack and uncode the unlimited point of view with my state of emanation. Aho. Powerful, powerful moment of speech. All right, everyone, come on into the chat room. I want everyone to give a little feedback on what you just heard before we go and take a call. There are many lines in it that will connect to many, many different people. Okay, here we go. Moved like a freight train. Thank you. That was its intention. It is to get you actionable, moving in all aspects. What a beautiful graduation speech. There we go. All right, Robert, let's go ahead and have people do some chat room exercises. So everyone, go down to the participants button, click on that, and exercise your choice to raise your hand, lower your hand, raise your hand, lower your hand, raise your hand, lower your hand. I want everyone to experience this power of now, to have raising your hand. For those that are listening on the other platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, and any of the others that I missed, you must be in the Zoom room if you want to be selected as a caller. There is a way that you can call in via the phone. There's a way you can get in via computer, via multiple places. Zoom is not a hard program to use. You must be a part of the email list if you want to be a part of the calling list. Pretty simple. So you can go to andrewbartzis.com and sign up for the list to be a part of it. If you're on other platforms and want to come in and be a selected caller, you must be in the Zoom room, must be in the Zoom chat, because we raise hand, lower hand, raise hand, lower hand. So we have people raising their hands, lowering their hands, raising their hands. This is a form of chat room jazzercise. All right, Robert. We are in the jazzercise moment. Let's spin the great exercise wheel of choice and see who comes up.
All righty. We're going to need an emoji that's sweating.
A sweating emoji?
Sweating emoji. All right. First person, Steve Love, you are unmuted with Andrew.
Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, great. Where are you calling from today?
Australia.
Australia. Oh, great. What did you think about the speech I just read?
Oh, it was great, thank you. Yeah, it was really good.
Great. So what did you want to talk about today?
I just want to actually hear how much truth there is in the Emerald Tablets.
Have you read them?
Yeah, I have. I've read them about 7 times.
Okay. Do you feel truth in them?
Yes, I do.
So then, here's an example. There are different teachings for every color. So there's red tablets, blue tablets, green tablets, yellow, all those things. Each one has a different perspective on color itself and how time-space interacts with colors and creates memories within it. There's a lot of truth.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, there is a lot of truth in there.
What truth are you looking for? Because truth is still subjective to the observer, and that's the main teachings when you get into the essence of why an emerald tablet came forward first and survived throughout history, because there are books out there that are improperly translated, and there are ones that are properly translated, and then there are ones that are completely channeled by somebody else, and they're even more accurate than the other ones. But everyone's a signature frequency match to the moment of now when an object or document comes in front of you. And out of choice, we can allow the document to influence us, our belief engine, or to expand our awareness. And the purpose of all the documents that have survived is to give us this impetus of choice right now, to be bold and courageous, to say, I don't need to let it change me. I need to let it expand my perspective and perception, no matter what the work is.
Yeah.
Is it helping you create light?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Then there's a lot of truth for you in this moment of now. Is a signature frequency match. And more than likely, there's a whole other coded information solely in there for you about your evolution that may evolve into a greater teaching.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd just like to also know where my soul family comes from.
So your soul family are a big hunk of travelers, okay? They're ones that realize that a planet provides an experience and they don't need to be adhered to one experience in any way, shape, or form. So about 44 million years ago is when you decided to not really be a part of one planet, but you started Pleiadian, you made it up to 7th density, which was quite, at that particular time, very potent for the Pleiadian people. And then you went through an ascension process that didn't have a destruction in their world. And what that showed you is you elevated your soul's frequency into multidimensional living on many different dimensions and layers and densities, in which you had many homes. But many of the versions of yourself shared a common mission, which was to go out and search the stars. For what? The things that they had not seen in the last 40 million years. New eras of history were beginning, and the bold and the brave, and those with the ability to act boldly and bravely, went off into the great unknown. And they discovered places like Earth, Mars, Saturn. And they were not in a single solar system then. They were all individual planets and individual places and spaces, until the rapid unshuffling and reshuffling of the galactic positions of stars was changed by those things that were known as founder beings. Founder beings saw a great, oh shit, DNA is mixing in a way it's not supposed to mix. And then the DNA that had mixed together did something that countered the great beings. And that began the need to create a galactic ascension machine. And you were part of a fundamental spirit who said, well, we've really toxified this section of the solar system, the galaxy. It is our responsibility. And we'll have to learn to be ambassadors to many dimensions, many time-space realities, many localities, seen and unseen, so that they begin sending their greatest offenders to the galactic ascension machine. So in a sense, you were like a posse guy that had to go world to world to world and say, hey, you've got some great offenders on your world. They need to come back here. And then convince the celestial mind and the people of the world that they're not necessarily false, bad beings. They just did something that needs resolution over here. And the longer they ignore it, the more damage they do to everyone else. Forcing people to
that's amazing.
Position of responsibility. Yeah. Giving the responsibility back to them. With that, you became part of Earth's essentially first species, because those that were bold and actionable and willing to work with the higher needs of the spirit at the many different layers, you became integrated into Earth's great consciousness. And since then, you have been one of those on the cutting edge of what free will could mean, because there's millions of years of people exploring free will, but free will here is explored vastly different, because we can experience the 7 colors of time. That's why our planet is set up that way. But our DNA instruments of experience, that which you and I are in, can experience up to 50 colors of time. So there's a whole 42 more levels of color and awareness that you and I can experience that would never overload us sensory based, once we get over the ideological limitations that have been imposed on our world.
Well, that's unreal. That's really nice to know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You've had visions of being out in the great unknown, exploring time and space?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've had this, a real yearning for freedom ever since I've been, manifest here.
Mm-hmm. So what is it that you're looking for this lifetime, man? What do you do for a job?
I've been working as an anesthetic healthcare practitioner. In the medical industry, and I've got a clear understanding that that's not what we're supposed to be doing. And it's the longer I'm going on and working in that role, I know that we shouldn't be doing this type of, that's not the healing we should be doing for people. Mm-hmm. Cutting tumors out of people, or, that type of thing. The longer I'm there, it's harder for me to work there.
Yeah, you're reaching a point where you can't ignore the butchery for butchery's sake.
Yes.
There are times it's necessary.
Exactly.
There are times it's necessary. We're not denying allopathy its purpose, because it is absolutely necessary for some people. But there are many unnecessary surgeries which are just plain butchery.
Yes,
Unfortunately, that's a
exactly.
level, just like there's an overprescription of medications over and over and over again. Do you see
Yeah,
yourself as something that could change the industry?
I just I see the surgeons, and I see the anaesthetists, I see the surgeons and doctors working with patients, and to me, I just don't understand why they don't see all the new technology that's out there, like vibration technology, to
Because
get rid of tumors and stuff like that. Yeah.
They're not educated, and the way doctors have continuing education would actually kind of make you cringe. They don't really do education. It's what the drug companies said them. It's what papers they choose to read, what medical documents they choose to read, white papers they choose to read. Other than what the pharmacopoeia industry brings to them, they agree to that. It's a big thing to attempt to retrain doctors who have been general practitioners for 5, 10, 20 years or some form of specialist so that they can go and learn the alternative sciences. Unfortunately, they're only graduating 100 people a year. Until the bigger colleges, the bigger universities want to train doctors on the alternatives, which are fully white papered and evaluated, like pulse electromagnetic therapy, hyperbaric chambers. If those are all integrated to normal doctor's office, we'd have a radically different insurance system and a radically different way of preventative maintenance until maintenance broken down. The other thing is doctors as an economic business have to be looked at for burnout, for the overproduction, underproduction, and the business model of doctors is what's creating the biggest issue of why they don't learn, okay? Because they never have time to actually learn.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah.
They don't have time.
And it seems crazy that there's doctors, but they don't understand nutrition. They're surgeons, so they don't really understand.
It's a minor part of their degree, a minor part.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. It should be a major part. First thing first, we have to look at the educational system, which is still operating from the 1930s mode of training people. It's 2020. Okay?
Yeah.
90 years, it's been the same way for 90 years. When is it going to change? We don't pay doctors and chickens anymore. It used to be that way 90 years ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. Would you take 2 chickens for your anesthesia? No, your insurance would never let you. Okay, your insurance would never let you. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
So why does insurance run doctors' choices? Once again, the business model and legislation.
Also, have you heard of the QAnon movement?
Oh yeah, I talked about it last week for a little bit. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so it's the Q movement. The Q Patriot movement. So I guess that's what's gonna push the revolution, I guess.
No, to understand Q and the communities around it and how they grew into it, you have to know the evolution of what conspiracy theoryism was, what it is in 2012 into what it is now, 2019. You've had 7 years of really advanced conspiracy theorists observing and making failures, successes, until they've come into their own bubble. Now, is Q a psyop? Technically, everything's a psyop right now. It is a war on your consciousness and your belief. The battle is to believe. So whether Q is good, bad, psyop, indifferent, doesn't matter. The context of his content will create divisiveness within you to create charge and polarity, or to observe it as a growing movement, or to do whatever it is your belief's going to do to it. It's a clear movement that the mainstream media had to shut down, because if it didn't, the narrative that they were trying to produce would have been severely interrupted. Does that make it a psyop? Yeah, it does. But we don't know until we put our belief in it.
Yeah, right. I've never looked at it that way. Yeah, as a psyop. Yeah.
Okay. So Q also has other factors. It is dropping a lot of predictive truths. Predictive meaning there are drops that say X, X, and X are going to go on through inference encoded message. And there are those that decode the message within a day or a week or a month. And you begin to see a train of things that become undeniable.
Yes, that's right.
What does that mean? Well, that is luring you in to the good, bad, and different movement. Okay? Not to mention every video, like when YouTube did the great expulsion of many content creators, it was trying to make sure that the Q movement wouldn't survive in YouTube back channels, meaning where they figured out how to do keywords different, structured the words so the words weren't lining up with the mouth anymore. Same thing they do to get other people to stop so they can produce content illegally. Okay?
Yeah, right. Okay.
So when 8chan comes back on, which who knows what it could be because the guy just testified in front of Congress. So if 8chan comes back on, Q will post whenever he can. If 8chan doesn't come on, then what does that do to the movement of Q? If it's silenced for this election on social media. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Yeah.
It validates it. It validates it. If they don't let it to naturally come back on, they're validating it. And it'll go so in the deep, dark web, and what will happen? You won't be able to predict it anymore. You won't be able to see it coming anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. People will still find it, though, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. All right, brother, I got to let you go and move on to my next caller. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, Robert, let's spin the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Okay, our next caller will be Sonia. Sonia, you're unmuted.
Sonia, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can barely hear you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay, maybe you want to come a little closer to the phone. You're really distant.
Is this a little bit better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. All right.
Awesome.
So what kind of question, how did you find out about me first?
My friend and teacher, Shannon, actually introduced me to your work a couple of years ago. And it was so interesting, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. So in the last couple of weeks, I've returned again, and actually it's made a lot more sense.
Okay. So what did you want to talk about today?
Sure. So the question that I wanted to start with was asking about the attunement process and passing of transmissions. Like in Reiki, I'm a Reiki practitioner. We pass energy by attunement, but I'm wondering, originally I was going to ask but how would spirit or guides install these for us as opposed to going to another person? And then is this something that we would specifically ask our guides for, or could they just be given as needed?
So first thing first, I studied Reiki under the Usui practitioner, and you are not ever to give remote attunements. That is totally against the lineage teaching. And it is not something you can just give authority to a guides to attune something to somebody. You have to physically do it yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot defer authority, especially when you're dealing with universal energy. Did your teacher teach you how to create the microcosmic orbit and build it up before you blow to the back of the neck and seal it in?
Not that teaching specifically.
Okay, so that's the original Usui method. There are other methods from other Reikis that have been created that some are effective, some are not. It's really about the potency of your own energy and understanding that the attunement is you're taking what's a little tiny tributary or a river going into a person and dredging it out to the Mississippi River. That's what tuning is. So that large volumes of energy can come in. And if they deny the energy, it'll just wash over the aura and go back into the universal frequency. but you've like level one's dredging the river 1, 2, and when you get up to master, it's the Mississippi River is flowing in you, and you use the symbols as a gear system of how fast on the super highway of information, data, or energy you're flowing through your whole system. So you can't give away authority to anyone, even your guides.
Interesting. And then is that exclusive to just Reiki, or because I know there's so many different modalities and ways to work?
Me personally, there should be very little done remotely when you are attuning, graduating, anyone in the class. You need the hands-on finality of the experience.
Absolutely.
There are others that believe others, okay, and they're entitled to that belief. But for me, it is complete versus giving an energy frequency and having it remotely done. Now, I do remote healings, and many of them are very, 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 very effective. But there always comes down to a moment where certain forms of healing, certain trauma will not come out with human touch.
Beautiful. Thank you. I have one other question. It was posed to me in a reading a while ago, and I'm looking to connect some more dots. I was told about a sensitivity to numbers, sigils, sequencing, and patterns, and that this is in relationship to like a esoteric or occult tradition. And so I'm wondering if there's any more information about this that might be appropriate to be shared.
How long ago was this reading?
I think it was about 2 months ago. Yeah, about 2 months ago.
Okay. And that's just something that's been sitting in the background waiting for definition in you?
I've been pretty actively seeking and looking, but I haven't really found something that lands and feels like it.
Then pretty much whoever was telling you wasn't really, really connected to you, because if you can't find anything in 2 months, you're not meant to find it. You're not a signature frequency match for it.
Wow. Well, that is helpful too.
I have people that come to me and a random reading session that was done 25 years ago to this day has such powerful effects on them that they've wasted their life looking for all of this stuff that was never going to be there.
Wow.
If a psychic does something and it doesn't really come into pattern recognition, or there's an issue in your resonance with it, there are times that people, as soon as the answer is there, they're resonated with so much they have to push it away because it represents a healing. That's a little different journey.
Sure.
Okay? But you're just talking in affinity to numbers, and that's word salad.
Yeah, it wasn't very specific. So, well, thank you. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking my questions.
You're welcome. Let me probe a question to you. What do you do for a job?
I'm a yoga teacher and a Reiki master.
Okay, how long have you been doing it for now?
I've been teaching yoga for 4 years, and I've been working professionally as a Reiki master for almost 2 years.
Okay. What did you do before that?
Kind of hopped around. I worked at a tattoo shop. I worked in whiskey tasting. I worked as a receptionist, and kind of hopped around. About 1.5 years was my max time at each job before
you found your passion in yoga and Reiki. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're a world ahead of everyone else out there that's wished they did it 4 years ago.
Yeah, it definitely, it's kind of come full circle to be able to have the space to do it. And it's felt really awesome and very much where I'm supposed to be.
How often do you allow people to do body work on you?
Not enough. I try to hopefully maybe once a month, but honestly, it's not consistent, and financially it's felt challenging, but I've now found people that I'm able to barter with, which seems like it's going to make it more sustainable for me.
Okay. I'm sensing a lot of extreme tension between your scapulas and your shoulder blade area.
Mm.
You have children that are pulling your energy awareness?
I don't.
Somebody you hold into high regard that is having major issues?
Possibly. My partner has depression that I think he manages pretty well, but I wouldn't be surprised if my energy is susceptible to that.
Yes. Well, you're taking on anxiety from this particular person, and there's a few others. Sometimes we open up our compassion field a little too much, and I would really like for you to itemize compassion moments and understand there are times you are very compassionate to others during their emergencies, but they are not reciprocal to compassion to you during your emergencies.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
It does. It's hard to hear, but yeah, it absolutely does.
And you have to begin to recognize that at a deeper layer. If they cannot reciprocate compassion during your moments, it's because they have charge and polarity stored for whatever reason.
Mm.
And it's hard as a healer and a teacher to have people in your life that have stored charge and polarity, that blissfully ignorant to its awareness that it's there, or blissfully aware that it's there and doing nothing about it.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. That really gives me some good stuff to digest and to work with.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions you want to ask?
Not that I can think of. I'll be back, I'm sure.
Thanks a lot for calling in. All right, Robert, thank you so much. Robert, let's go ahead and spin that next wheel of callers and see what the universe provides.
Next caller will be Kali. Kali, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Kali, are you there?
Hi, Andrew.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm from United Kingdom.
Ah, great. Welcome to the show. What questions did you have today, or what do you want to talk about?
Okay, we had a session a couple of weeks ago, months ago, something like that.
Oh, I remember. Okay, go ahead.
Hi. And I was just wondering, first of all, I want to say the heart meditation that you put out and Angela put out a while ago has brought some interesting insights into what I am, what I'm here for. I've got a lot of stuff going on about birthing and setting up birthing centres and women wisdom at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been quite a revelation, I guess, for me.
Okay.
So that's one thing. And then the other thing is quite funny, really, because you started off with the name it to claim it system. And my question that I've written down to you was, in the name it to claim it system, I've been looking at labels and how to describe what and who I am, so people gain an understanding from the labels used. What labels would you use?
None.
Thank you.
But you also have to learn to brand yourself, which are not labels.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm looking at is, you and I feel over the years have had.
Hold on, there is a lot more here.
Okay.
You're being shown information and you're not ready to process it all yet. You're trying to make something out of it before you've processed the whole transmission.
Okay.
So it's like, have you ever been in a conversation where somebody tries to finish your statements and they're not using the right words to finish your statements over and over again?
Sure.
You're doing that to spirit right now.
Okay. So shut up and listen, huh?
Process it
okay.
As an experience. There's a part of you that's outside of your body as the data is flowing through your body, which is part of your traumas that you've gone through over the many years. You got to be in your body because you're the living algorithm that unpacks and uncodes the wisdom. You're the cipher. You can't be outside of the body when the information's coming in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
more embodiment then.
It's more than embodiment. For too many years, your outlets were spirit, friends, and family, until friends and family had their own set of eruptions, which challenged your connection to spirit. You need to reconnect your emanation to spirit and allow spirit to emanate through you and process it so that you understand that there are codes and updates for your I am that you have been blocking for many years in a row. Things that help you unlock and uncode the information that's already within you. The aha moments that we all have.
Okay.
You are a classic cart before the horse in a multidimensional sense. You've got your multidimensional ducks in a row, but you got no carts for the ducks. No physical carts going forward. So your energetic abundance is blocked also.
Yeah.
Okay, which has been a physical challenge for you. Abundance for abundance for abundance, because you gave away for so long.
Yes.
So what is it going to take?
I did give away for so long. But
Right,
that pattern is stopping now.
No, it's just slowing down.
Awesome. Okay.
You'd be in a much different place if it was stopping. I assure you of that.
Okay. All right, I'll take that on board.
Well, there's more here for you to understand. Spirit is giving you a message for a reason, because you are worthy for it.
Yeah.
Okay? You are. You've done a lot of work, and it's obviously in the guides and the spirits that are working with you. But they're also at a moment where they're at a twiddle the thumb moment with you. And why are your guides and spirits at a twiddle thumb? Because they don't know if you're going to fall back to the old habitual patterns on a regular basis. That there will be one day that somebody's emergency is vital, and you're going to give away all your growth to help somebody in a moment.
Okay.
Has that already been showing up on your doorstep? Woe is me, help me now.
No, that actually hasn't. That actually hasn't been showing up.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think you've got a lot more awareness journey of how much you've given away your energy to a lot of people.
Yeah,
you can get it all back in a handful of prayers.
Yeah.
But there's an awareness journey to how much you gave away from all the other healings you did decades ago.
Okay. I've got to retain all that lot, have I?
Now you got to go back to the beginning of the journey.
Yeah, but that started when I was 5, Andrew.
So my shit went through when I was 6. I had to go back and clear it out. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing what I'm today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. But know this: you're here. You haven't really failed. You haven't killed yourself. Haven't gone down the path of complete and total destruction. You couldn't even make it to a call.
No. No, I'm still here.
Still here. One choice away. That's where you're at. One choice away. Can you stick with the choice? That has been your ongoing issue for the last 6 years.
Can I stick with the choice?
Yeah.
Of what? Standing up, you mean?
On your own 2 feet, with abundance and money flowing through you.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. This is not a negative thing for you. You're literally at a point where the old will remain the old, and the new you will make on the fly.
Yes. Okay. That's what it feels like.
Okay. But the fly still has an agenda of spiritual hygiene, not giving away your power, standing in your own 2 feet, allowing money to flow, taking care of past debts, both spiritual and physical.
Yeah.
No longer hold you back.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that. can I ask my question now?
Sure.
Okay. So in over past times, our consciousness on some levels seems to be quite concurrent. Like some of the teachings that you've put out, either I've had a memory of them before you put them out, or in sync with them, or after them.
Mm-hmm.
So in the name it to claim it system, if you're the galactic historian, what am I?
A conscious observer who understands that I am a standing wave, frequency, and time, and that these messages are not being broadcast solely on this linear time. They're broadcast to the entire uniworld that's layered over all forms of thought perception out to 2,700 degrees of separation. I'm an actualized and realized past, present, and future being, using the impetus of choice and free will to being a standing emanation of time, which in its own message is a sigil of awareness for anyone else who's ever been a standing wave in time. That the challenge is remembering who we are. I'm a frequency of light that has an encoded 1 million letter and 1 trillion letter celestial alphabet behind it. That does not make me any better or any stronger. I'm just choosing to interact on those layers. Who does that make you? You, during this time, who has your own set of spiritual contracts, values, and variables that determine how your soul family is going to evolve into the next evolution of light. I represent one of many millions of pathways of potentials to the evolution of light, as do many other teachers. I'm a part of the hub of interconnectivity like everyone else is. Mm-hmm. I'm choosing to say my hub of interconnectivity works with these set of words. And my spirit, the infinite in perspective, is choosing to allow these words to have an infinite perspective in every dimension, time stream, galaxy, and universe I simultaneously exist on as a being of responsible awareness.
Okay.
All right,
and you're just reflecting back to me where I need to stand up to.
Say that again.
And you're reflecting back to me where I need to stand up to.
Yes. The bar that your soul created that would determine if you would be responsible for the volumes of awareness that were going to come to you as spiritual contracts. It's like a speed limit sign. You have to be going at 70 miles an hour all the time to be on this path. You cannot slow down to 59 miles an hour with your turn signal on. As soon as you go below the speed limit, you're no longer a frequency match for that higher density of information.
Okay.
You ever been on the freeway driving and you're behind the person that keeps going slower and slower and slower and slower?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. And then all of a sudden you're speeding up and slowing down. You
Okay.
have to maintain 70 miles an hour. As soon as you drop to 69.9, you're off the information super track.
Okay. So, no more distractions. My dog's talking. Yeah, no more distractions.
You're breaking up. Say that again.
I said no more distractions.
Mm-hmm. And other people's emergencies.
Sure.
That includes unseen people's emergencies. Calling you to a mission in the middle of the night, waking you up, taking away your sleep.
I haven't done one of those for a long time.
Yeah, you have. You just don't remember.
Just don't remember doing it. Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
All right, darling, I gotta let you go and move on to the next caller. Actually, we're going to take our break now. Thank you so much for calling in. All right, Robert, you're welcome. Let's go to our break right now, and when we come back, we'll take some more callers.
Okay, we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Hello, my name is Chris Ray Chappell, and I'm going to be teaching in Aniki, Barbados from the 11th of October for 3 days, an intensive on Hunyuan primordial Qigong. This is a classical energy work set, which is primarily meant to open up all of the energy pathways of the body and to actually get you into your essence. Now, the idea of this set is it's going to open every single joint, muscle, every bit of connective tissue, the sinews, the organs, the spine, access the blood flow to the brain, creating a homeostasis. Now, Qigongs classically are meant for either health, power development and strength, and often for meditation. So the application of this set is broad ranging. So I'd like to welcome you there. Hopefully you can make it for the 3 days. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to enjoy teaching it and sharing what I have to see who turns up. So I'd like to see you there. Thanks very much. Bye.
Baby steps for adults, drug abuse. What is drug addiction? Am I an addict? Who does drug addiction really harm? They can hurt your sense of judgment, decision-making, memory, and ability to learn. They can hurt your loved ones and so many others around you. Drug addiction is a disease which can be cured. Our Baby Steps program can provide the information you and your family need to overcome this illness. Online access to professionals working in the field of addiction, webinars and group counseling for those battling this addiction, full instruction to help you first understand this disease and how to cope with it. Join us today. We're here to help. Baby steps for adults, codependency. I can't live with or without you. I just want to look good for you. I would do anything for you. All popular words to famous songs. But guess what? They all indicate someone in a codependent relationship. Codependency is an addiction to another human being. You will see a strong relationship between codependency and negative physical side effects, which can manifest in violence towards your spouse or partner. If you're in a codependent relationship, you may need help. Join us today and free yourself from this addiction. Baby steps for adults, sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is a real problem in our societies. Every year, thousands of children are abused. These children constitute the most vulnerable members of our society. However, sexual abuse is also a real problem among our adult population. It can be violent and unwanted within family groups, as well as extreme harassment at the workplace. We can help. With online access to trained professionals working with victims of abuse and sexual assault, webinars and group counseling for those suffering from the trauma and struggling to make sense of their lives, full instruction to help you overcome the trauma and how to detect and assist other victims. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Join us today. Baby steps for adults, communication. Hey there! Are you reading this? Do you understand me? Oh, great! Then we're communicating. So what is good communication? Expressing exactly how you feel. Being personal and one-on-one. A simple touch or gesture of love. And what is poor communication? Screaming and shouting. Belittling others. Violence or verbal abuse. Would you like to learn to be an effective communicator? Join us today. Oh, bye now.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back from our little breaky break. All right, everyone. So you guys have been seeing this advertisement now for the Baby Steps program. If you are interested in being a part of the inaugural group with all the different modules, contact info@unifiedhealthsystems.com. We're also having our retreat that is coming up in October with Chris Chappell, learning Qigong, getting to use the system. Contact info@Unified Health Systems if you're interested in coming to these retreats. All right, everyone, remind one more thing. Hit the like and subscribe button on whatever channel you are. And please share these information, share these shows. We're looking to expand our show We're going to be having our studio shows that are set up, some pre-recorded stuff. We're going to be having a dating show coming up because that has been something that has been very much asked for by the background. So once again, I'm going to open up the wheel of callers, and we want to talk about everything. This is not just for people who want reading. This is for people who just want to talk. Have a conversation with me. I am opening it up here. And people are asking, where's David? David is traveling in Canada right now, and he'll be back next week. He is doing his masterful David stuff. All right, Robert, spin the wheel of callers and see who wants to have a conversation.
Alrighty, so many hands right now. Blake Bolt, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Blake, are you there?
I'm here, Andrew. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Where are you calling from?
British Columbia, Canada. Chilliwack.
British Columbia, Canada. Welcome to the show. We got a worldwide callers today. What do you want to talk about today?
Oh, how much time you got?
Depends if you
know. I remember I was hearing that video about the place in Barbados.
Yep.
That sounds unreal, amazing. I actually spent 6 years in Grenada.
Oh, right across the bay. Yes.
Yeah, that area. When I was a kid, we lived there. It was a different experience, but that's pretty wild. I'd love to get my wife down there. She would. I think she'd really love that.
Well, contact info at Unified Health Systems if you want to set up. The Barbados is open beyond retreats. It's actually open on weekends and weekdays, but it's all by appointment.
Yeah.
So if you want to come to the Barbados facility and just do the Barbados stuff, you could do all that too.
Yeah, it sounds cool. We got a honeymoon. We got to do one of these days, so we'll figure something out. Oh, I know. I tell her about the Caribbean and what it was like there.
Yeah, right down the way from where the Barbados facility is at Wisteria Court, there are all the big South Beach hotels. Like all the big super hotels are right there.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. That's awesome.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, my dad owned a scuba diving business in Grenada, so that's what we did when we were down there.
Oh, that's fun.
Just, beautiful reefs, fish. It's a good memories of a childhood for sure.
All right, so what do you want to talk about today?
Well, brother, I'm just going through the experience of waking up to what the bigger picture of reality is, and been enjoying my journey so far with trials and ups and downs. But I've followed you for a little while now,
mm-hmm.
and I would just, in all reality, I would just open myself. If there's anything you think that I should know or hear, I think the synchronicities had lined up. This is the first time I've called in.
Okay.
So, brother, shoot. What do you got for me?
Let me ask you the probative questions as
absolutely.
And the unseen world is going at a different layer here. So what is it that you do for a job?
I'm a welder, and I'm in the union Boilermaker. So I work in, the industry, oil refineries, power. And British Columbia is like mainly pulp mills and refineries and that stuff.
How long have you been doing that for?
About 10 years with the Boilermakers. Been welding for about 15 or close to.
You find completion in it?
Pays the bills.
Do you find
no, obviously not. But the joy of with what I do now, I get a lot of joy just because of the people I work with. It's a lot of us that we got a good brotherhood of a union tradesman. We all respect each other, and it's actually can be a real joy to work with these guys. So for that, I'm thankful.
But does it complete you? No.
No, of course. I don't know what would right at this point. Like I said, I'm coming to the realization of the bigger pictures of everything, right? So
right now, it's not about the bigger picture. Are you going to affect the bigger picture anytime soon?
Anything's possible.
When you're not heart right now, anytime soon, are you going to affect the bigger picture?
Oh, no, probably not.
Not without some serious dedication, some serious commitment, and some serious courage.
True. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You meant to be a social justice warrior? No.
A social justice warrior. What do you mean by that?
One who everyone's wrongs.
Okay.
I'm trying to bring pattern to you.
Okay.
Part of you feels ineffective at processing the bigger picture, and part of you is processing the bigger picture while you're living part of it. And you can't do both right now because you're not a fully multidimensional functioning being, which is the nature of what the awakening is about.
Yes.
The more you allow the awakening in, the more you expand your awareness of the uni world that's layered around you. You have a stable job in which you like people. That is a gift. Even though that gift may not complete you, it will allow you to do many, many, many other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like get continuing education that may advance your spiritual journeys, like going and learning a healing technique like craniosacral therapy, which you can do on weekend classes. Okay? There are other things that you can do too that will advance your personal journey. Having ceremonial space, like an actual little piece of property that you can go to and feel comfortable at and let down your guard and be the fully spiritual being that you are.
Okay.
That's called having a prayer ground.
Yes.
A lot of people, because of who they live with and where they live and so on and so forth, they have to make their prayer ground in their home. And it's not necessarily as sacred as they want because there's all these other people observing and interacting with it.
Okay. To get away from everyone for a while. Clear.
Not even about getting away as much as it is giving your personal space validation.
Okay.
You're at a point where in your journey, validating your personal space, separating the job, the family, the everything else, and coming back into balance solely with you and how you relate to nature and nature itself. The birds, the bees, the ducks, the dinosaurs, and everything in between. Separate.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's I guess I gotta go camping for a while.
That can work. Do you have any money saved up at all?
It's been spent. I'm gonna go make some more.
Well, you can always
but
look
eventually I will.
You know, cabins in the woods in British Columbia. There's lots of places that you might be able to timeshare or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, absolutely. There's lots of those options.
Okay?
That's for sure.
Use them to your advantage.
Yeah. Okay.
You know somebody who needs welding work done on the side, and you can trade that for staying at those cabins.
That's a good idea.
Have the job pay for yourself.
Yeah, pretty much, you know. Yeah. But wow, that's really neat. That's definitely something. It's strange that you mentioned that because I had been thinking about getting up and just getting, to quiet. Not really getting away, but getting to quiet.
Getting to quiet. Getting out of the big run of the city.
Yes. Yeah. Even, it's not a big city I live in, but it's busy enough. You get crammed in here.
That's right.
It's absolutely.
Space so your spirit can come into your body and go through an expansion.
Okay. Wow, that is I'm very glad I called you today. I'm glad it worked. The synchronicities worked out today. This is very cool. That's very cool.
Let me probe a little bit more. Are you in a relationship?
Yes, I'm married.
How long have you been married for?
We've been married about 8 years now. I'd say 8 years.
Kids?
Yeah, better be. No kids. No kids. No. Just a dog.
No intention of having kids?
My wife's health is kind of the main factor with that. So for now, and probably, it's not going to be in the cards, I don't think.
What's up with her health?
She had, her main issue is interstitial cystitis. And then she's also suffered from a couple car accidents, and just the poor girl's just had bad luck with the health.
Is she a spiritual person?
In her own way, perhaps. I think she's becoming more open. Like, we were both raised Christian. Like, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and she was raised a Mennonite. So there's the Christian, background programming's there. But she recently, on her own, started getting into crystals and stones, and I've noticed the change with her, and she really helps, and she really connects with a lot of them, and that's been within the last year or two that she's really started.
Do you have a collection of stones at all for yourself, or does she just have the collection?
She bought me a stone, a set. It's a shungite and a moldavite stone.
Okay.
And I think
does she have a bunch or a small selection?
She has, she has a bunch. She has a bunch of shungite and a whole bunch of other stones that she uses. I can't even remember the names of them all. But I let her. I was just, she was in a spot where those were bringing her some help or whatever, so I let her just go nuts. Get whatever you want. I didn't care. So now I don't know what she's got.
Okay. So my advice for you is she starting to experience this stuff? What you can do is say, hey, I want to try something. I want to help you work with the crystals. You can have her lay flat on the bed on her stomach and put the crystals up and down her spinal column. Like lay up all the shungite, all the small crystals from the back of her neck to her tailbone.
Okay.
And have her do breathing exercises. And this is where you can learn to just brush energy out, because what crystals do, they bring the tension energy and bring it into the auric field. And it's kind of like this bubbling effervescence. And if you brush your hand over the tops of the crystals, once they've warmed up a little bit to the energy body, you'll be able to brush out stagnation and start moving energy in her.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got more to learn. Lots more to learn. Always learning.
The experience at the next level.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, the next level is definitely what's got my eye. I don't know. Whenever you think about talking to someone like you, and you think you have all these questions lined up and ready to go, but you're in the moment, and all of a sudden it's like, what did I want to ask him?
That's because many of them are ephemeral questions. They're actually not do anything to the bigger you. They're not going to change the potential. And when a lot of people lose these questions, they don't know what to ask next, is because they're right on the edge of making something unknown to themselves, which is what I kind of do a lot, is make the unknown known. It's already in your field and you just don't see it. I make it blatantly obvious.
Yeah, I've noticed that from your past videos and watching what you've been doing. It's been really cool. I think I saw you the first time was you did that Lib TV with Sean Stone years ago.
Yes.
On YouTube. That's the first time I saw you, and you just blew my mind. I was like, who is this guy? I gotta find out more. And I read up about you, watched your Galactic history little show you did on at Mount Shasta there.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, mind-blowing stuff when I first saw it. It was mind-blowing. Very cool.
And nothing's been out like that since, and probably nothing will, because I've already done 180 hours in Galactic history.
Oh yeah. What? I can imagine you're getting ready for something new and different, eh?
Yeah, that's why I created the Unified Health Systems. That's why I've got all these projects and plans going. But also an understanding, information can be useless at times.
Yes.
Okay? And when we put ourselves full of useless information, how do we become useful beings?
Very good. That's a very good point.
There are some that need to know Galactic history. That's why I put 180 hours out.
Yeah.
If you can't get it in 180 hours, I can't help you.
What more do you want?
What do you want? Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll want to do it.
Well, couldn't you do like 190 hours, Andrew? I mean, come on. Yeah, no, man. I just
my part.
Yeah, I think you've done your part, brother. I think you've done your part. And people like me are waking up. Even the guys I work with, they got the alpha male attitude, but all of a sudden we're sitting there talking about meditation and spirituality and stuff like that. So, I can see the change happening around. I see it. It's very cool. It's very cool.
It is to see it. And we see the audience. There's been a big turnover in audience from 2012 to now. And there's the whole industry itself has become an industry where it wasn't really an industry when I first started. It was
no
just
kidding.
The beginning of it. And now the industry's imploded on itself several times. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all been amalgamated into one big industry: consciousness, self-help, conspiracy, and meditation and yoga and martial arts are all put under one subject now, one genre.
Pretty much. I've noticed that too, just as observing it all when I first started seeking knowledge. I've seen how it's all kind of getting lumped in now. I get what you're talking about.
They all have keys that help you understand the other parts. Why
exactly
preventive maintenance is more important than allopathic medicine style, or why learning Qigong or martial arts can lower the stress in your life, or why conspiracy is right when they say that the XX and X is going on, because they're trying to limit our capacity to perceive.
Yeah.
Through the medical industry, through the doctors, through pharmacopoeia.
Oh, don't even get me started on the medical industry. I'm witnessing it firsthand with my wife, and I don't even go to my doctor. I haven't been to a doctor in I don't know how many years, since my car accident years ago. And now, like, I don't take pills. I don't put, any pharmaceutical in my body unless I absolutely have to. Mm-hmm. But my poor wife, they got her, she's reliant on them. But, we got a good doctor. I feel he tries as much as he can, as much as his understanding will. He does try. So we're thankful for that.
Well, that's a tough situation. Maybe you should look into see if you can get your wife to come on your honeymoon and come do a couple days in Barbados in the system and see what we can do for her.
Oh, that's the man. When I first saw that was it. My brain clicked and I was like, I got to figure this out. I got to get us down there. And I'm going to go to work, make some money, and we'll see what we can do.
Great.
Right on. Thank you so much, Andrew. This was a real treat. I'm glad you took the time for me.
Great. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank
All right, Robert, let's spin the wheel of caller one more time.
All right. Thanks, Blake. Our next caller is going to be Rosanna. Rosanna, you are unmuted.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi. Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
First, I called you 2 years ago, and I have the most amazing experience after. When you were reading my Akashic Records, I asked you telepathically to leave it open, so I could read that, go back after and read it. And since then, I can read the Akashic Records. So you leave it open for good. So I'm deeply grateful for that.
Wonderful.
Yes, it was amazing. I was dying to go to your retreat that you were doing, but for the problems of papers and finances, I couldn't. So you gave me the gift telepathically. So I really, really appreciate it. I've been using it really well ever since, helping a lot of people in honor to you. So thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you. So what did you want to talk about today?
My realm of research is through the Akashic Records. I learned that I'm deeply concerned about the problems that the galaxy, and especially this planet, is going through with the archonic grid and all the intervention and domination of the system of domination and control. In that call, I called you to tell me that I was wrong in what I was perceiving, and you told me that I was right, so it was a shock. And I kept going and trying to unfold how to disconnect from that using the contract revocation. And I started getting hit really hard, obviously. But I keep working, and I found out then the main thing was to try to reconnect and unfold all the levels of soul and essence to bring it down to the planet. So I've been working very hard on that. Now I am in the level of Doctor Strange, trying to download it here. And it's been such a journey. In the last month and a half, speed up really, really a lot of changes, realizations, openings, DNA activations, downloading. And I've been fixing all the areas and aspects of my life, using it as a Canva to download systems.
Okay.
There is one area, and all the areas are almost going everything perfect, or as perfect as it can be, and along with my essence. But there is one area that is getting very difficult. Is the area of finances. The place where the system can hit me is through there, and I still have an opening. Then even then I'm trying to work with truth, honesty, and try to see what is behind. I cannot see it. So today I connect to see if you can help in that area.
So what are the actual question you're asking?
I'm getting hit by the system in the finances area. So everybody's super happy with the work that I'm doing. I'm getting a lot of breakthroughs in people. My rituals are called the life-changing rituals because I get to people to reconnect a lot with their essence and experience a lot of them for first time their essence. But financially,
are you charging for that service?
Yes, I'm charging. And the thing is that the people then allow me to do it because I do it in nature, are getting hit. So the interference doesn't come directly through me. It comes through the people then I have to rely in working with. So all the time I'm seeing constant battles. For example, sometimes I'm doing a project to try to bring that closer to the people, then that's the call then I receive, and I say yes. And the people then are helping me to get that down. They get hit and suddenly they forget everything that we're doing. They don't understand anything. They get confused.
It really sounds like you have a lot of very high energy negative beings around you,
yes,
manipulating things into a state where you can never be free.
Yes, that's the feeling.
I'll be blunt, you got to stop doing the work for a little bit. Every time you turn on your light, you were just feeding a system of demons and ghosts, and right now you're not helping anyone. Unless you can figure out how to clear your environment and do some serious ceremonial and ritual on your home. Is there anyone living at your home that shouldn't really be living there?
Only my two kids.
Do either of them have issues, like serious issues going on?
No, they had, but no. My ex-husband.
What issues in the past?
My child was the male. He's 12. He was having like, they look like tantrums, but in reality it was like an aggression attacks that looks like possession. So I've been working a lot with that and a lot with the father because the father had that too.
All right, so you have to listen to these words. Your castle has lots of secret entrances into your castle, and you've got to seal a lot of those secret entrances up.
Okay.
You need to fortify your bubble of reality and understand that there are certain things you can do for your children and certain things they have to do on their own. And I think there's some work you're doing for one of the children that isn't helping them anymore, and you need to stop doing it. They need to figure it out on their own. The next thing is, when you start doing transformative journeys with people and start charging for it, there's a responsibility to keep an environment clear as well as yourself. And if you're getting attacked all the time, you have to change the nature of the way you do your work.
Wow.
You can't continue to do it that way.
Yes.
Okay? You got to think smarter here. It's not about just doing something in the moment. It's about strategizing and understanding what will happen with the consequences. There is a term, no good deed goes unpunished, and it's very valid in this world. No good deed goes unpunished.
Yes, I've been experiencing that.
Well, that means you got to take a pause, recover, regenerate, and recuperate from all the attacks that you've gone on, put up your wall of energy. You can still book people the next month. But you got to take some time off and really, really recover and really strategize about when you're going to go back to work, how you're going to go back to work. Okay. Now, you have a variety of techniques that you use. Are you willing to solely use them on yourself and your own environment?
Yes.
For an extended period of time, so that when you start to take clients back on. Now, the next thing is, you're having some definite ancestral issues. If these ghosts are this stirred up, there's something on the land you are living in that's not in alignment with your greater soul family's purpose.
You mean the city that I am?
Yeah, the city and the land that you're in, ancestral energies. Have you heard me talk about doing the ancestral soups?
No.
All right, so this is where you're going to make a soup, bone broth or something that you're intending to give away to the energy ancestors. You're going to put the soup on your stove. You're going to let it simmer for 4 or 5 hours, and you're going to put all your prayers into it. You're going to put your messages and essence of the wisdoms that you've learned in it. Can you give yourself this challenge of making a sacred soup in which you can give a ladle to the backyard, a ladle to the driveway, something over there that gives you as an offering, an energetic offering of wisdom and healing and prayer, so that you begin to balance some of these really harsh energies that are coming at you from the city.
Oh, okay. There was something that I was feeling then, that this city, there is something, because it never happened to me. Then I was so blocked and tied up, and that's the feeling that I have inside. Then I'm not allowed to move on to make things work.
You can. You just have to see a different way of doing it.
Cool.
And this is why things are coming to a head for you now. You got to strategize your way out of this. The system is not that hard to beat.
No.
And if it's giving you all this stuff now, it's because you're on the right track. Now you just have to figure out how to do it better.
One of the things that happen is then I realized that I recognize patterns. So every time then you're about to do a big step in life and a big download and a big integration in your life of tools and technology and gifts and memories, there is always a hard attack before. So I know that the system knows what I'm doing. So they try to stop me. And one of the things that has been happening in the last 2 years is that actually I'm using that against them, because every time then they come to hit so hard, I know then what I'm about to do. And so I keep going harder and stronger and everything. But there is a part of the soul that is beginning, or myself, then is beginning to get tired of me battling all the time. I came to and not to battle the system. It's like I came to do my work. I know the situation of the planet and the galaxy very well, but it's becoming frustrated.
And it'll be coming through more and more stages. And as the solar minimum begins to end and we start reaching a solar maximum, you're going to be challenged once again with a massive amount of growth. And one of the reasons these attacks have all culminated for you is you have to learn how to deal, because once the solar minimum ends, what are you going to do then when all the shit's activated? All the negative system stuff. This is why it's vitally important that people have a daily practice, so that when wall of mosquitoes is out in the bubbles of reality, constantly pecking at everyone. You have some off stuff, some
Yes.
spray off that gets the bugs off of you.
Yes, but sometimes they come with, for example, I've been doing the work on myself and my environment, and every time then I go to do my ceremonies, I go hours before, open the space, clean myself. And I share my practice. I share my thing, and I'm doing that day with others. But the thing that it went away is also because I have the tendency to take too much responsibility of myself. Is that maybe the land that has a situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me that I'm not being very neutral in seeing through the higher perspective. So that's another download too.
Yeah, and that's something that's going to be an ever-evolving journey, is how your neutrality reflects to your daily choices. Yeah.
Yes, because what I'm seeing is the neutrality and integrity and standing up. It has so many layers, and I keep unfolding, and I guess there must be so much more ahead.
A lot more ahead. Yes, a lot.
A lot more.
A lot more free will and choices that may be challenging for some people.
Yes, and one of the things that
the awakening represents more choices, more challenges, and more responsibilities. And those that don't want to take on choice, challenge, and responsibility, they'll be relegated back to the mediocre few waiting for something to happen.
Yes. Yes, and it's a part of the journey then I know we sign up for, and I'm so honored to be participating. So I take it with honor. I'm glad that I can keep going 1 meter more or 2 feet more every day. But one of the things then I'm learning through the Akashic Records is the importance of being the neutral. Integrity and truth are basic, but the importance of being in the neutral to stand up is every day more, is getting different meanings and becoming more and more important.
That's right. It is within our ability to be courageous, to be neutral, so that the information from the Akashic Records can expand our awareness and knowingness, but not change our ideological system of belief. It is our individual choices that unlock our ideological belief to a greater perspective without limitations. Once we stop arguing for our limitations and allow the Spirit to work through us, that divine Spirit that is already in us and has been working through us for a very long time, we learn to co-create with it in such a way that there's a divine uniworld of inspiration there waiting for us to co-create with it.
But I have one question, and it just came out with what you said. How can I call it essence, everything that you said, because lack of English wording. How can our essence then is so powerful, so unlimited, so pure power can be so hit when we are talking about 3 and 4 dimensions?
You have to restate the question. It was hard to understand it.
So, for example, to me, it's very easy to go beyond the 5 dimension and reconnect with my essence. And over there is no separation, nothing. But when I get to download all that into the 3 and 4 dimension, to the dimension of the physicality, how can something so powerful, so unlimited, can be hit so hard in this dimension? It's because the sacred geometry, it's because all the systems that they use to control and dominate us. How can they be powerful? And even knowing that they're there and working on that.
They have belief behind them, thousands and millions of people who give them belief energy. This is a battle for consciousness, awareness. It has nothing to do with physical lands. It's a battle for awareness and consciousness. That's why it's the war on humanity, the war on those that think of conscious beings of choice. And every time you make a choice, there's a consequence. Well, the rest of the universe doesn't work like that.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Darling, I got to let you go and end the show. Thank you so much for calling, though.
Thank you so, so much for everything. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, Robert. This has been a really fun show. We want to remind everyone to like and subscribe on whatever platform or channel that you're on. We'll be back this coming Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time for the next live Universal Citizens call-in show. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll catch you the next show.